Hey guys, Joe with KCCG here, and I just wanted to make a little vlog because things got kind of screwed up on my end. We won't have any gameplay videos this week, but I wanted to weigh in on the current controversy going on with Shugesh and Cronoa and all that jazz, and I guess pretty much just people's opinion on Bandai's design of the game, like development and stuff like that. So, first off, I just want to weigh in and say, yeah, Shugesh needed something to be done. I was one of the people that, said Mecha Frieza was the worst part of the deck, and it was. It was Mecha Frieza's errata was necessary. And Shugesh seems to need some work, and that's entirely Bandai's fault. I will say that their testing process is apparently only test the set with itself. They're not testing with anything else that's been made. That's a big problem. Shugesh is very clearly a card that's meant to be only played with yellow Saiyans from set 3 mostly, and probably set 4 because they might at least have the blocks in mind now. I don't know. But it's very obvious they didn't mean for Shugesh to pair with the Dash Pack promo and Kale from Union Force to cheat that out, or a whole bunch of other stuff. Just veggies in general, they didn't take that. Well, they should have, considering 2 of the 3 of them are associated with Crossworlds, but they didn't for whatever reason. Which you guys is very clearly supposed to be yellow. They should have just put that on the card, and we wouldn't be in this mess. But it happens. Companies make mistakes. You gotta just let it slide. And the fact that they are willing to put cards in to combat the problems is nice. Cronoa, the sentiment of Cronoa is a very good thing. I hope I'm saying that name right. It's the fact that they're willing to listen. Hey, this card is a problem. We're going to try and do something about it. Not only with errata, but with creating new cards that can combat it. They probably went a bit overboard with its effect affecting the whole game, regardless of if it's on the board or not. Probably should have just meant as long as it's on the board. Can't do that stuff with a super combo. Would have been fine. Even as effectively a colorless 1-drop. With deflect. Like all of that, it would have been fine if it didn't persist the whole game the second it hit the board. So they did go a little bit overboard, and it does kind of send up a red flag that, hey, they're going to just kill good cards in the last set with the next set. We have no proof that's happening yet, because it's the first time this has actually really happened. So everyone quitting and selling stuff off and crying doom, settle down. Settle down. It's fine. Give it a bit of time. Wait till set 5. You got wait till November. Hell, maybe even wait till there'll be 2 sets out by then. September is when World Martial Arts Tournament comes out, and set 5 is in November. Say wait at least 6 months. Wait till set 6 or whatever the first thing comes out next year. First full set. Just wait till then, because it takes time. Bandai doesn't have as much lead time as, say, Wizards of the Coast does with Magic, because they develop sets about 2 years in advance. Bandai sounds like, I think they're only about 6 months in advance at this point. Because I remember they mentioned designing set 5, I think. Maybe they are a year out, because I want to say it might have been around Union Force's release when they mentioned that, or it could have been earlier this year. So they're 6 months to a year in advance. We'll go with that. So any suggestions that you guys angrily throw their way right now aren't going to show up in the next set. That set is done. Give it some time. They might do some erratas to fix things. That would be great. But any design suggestions people give out, because they're upset or whatever, or they think they have the answers, if they actually take that advice, it's not going to be for a few months. It's not going to be for a few sets. They're already done with the next one, so take that as it will. Don't just quit the game. That'll actually kill the game. Quitting the game for no reason. And on top of that, I also wanted to comment on some other videos, namely the 13 Reasons Why stuff that came out, which, first off, not a good name to go with. Pick something else. We know what it is. That's not very classy. Pick something else. for your... Just name it something different, please. It's really just... No, that's dumb. But the main thing was that I saw was the response video comparing it to Naruto. DBS to Naruto. A lot of people make those connections because they have similar gameplay. And there was people still are upset about Barrier and Cold Bloodlust, and stop comparing DBS to a game that's dead, that died for good reason. It wasn't a very well made game. I don't care what you think about it. You can rage at me all you want. The Naruto card game is dead because it was bad. It lasted a while. That's great. There was people that love it. That's fine. You can like it, but it was still a bad game. That's why it's That's why it's dead. Don't compare it to something like that. Compare it to what it's actually closer to. Another dead game. I compare it to Duel Masters all the time and Kaijudo. Those are both dead games because they didn't do very well. They were fun, but they're not good for the States because they're very close to Magic. And that's what DBS is. DBS shares like 90% of its rule set with Duel Masters, which was created as a Japanese version of Magic. So compare the game to Magic. I know people hate that because you have a hate boner for things that are popular. But seriously, compare it to Magic. Compare things like Cold Bloodlust or Barrier to parts that things are in Magic. Cold Bloodlust is straight up counter Magic in Magic. Counter Magic is a huge part of that game. People hate it. Yeah, if you hate Counter Magic, you probably suck. I hate to say it, but yeah, you can go onto Magic Online as a free account. And you can download it. You can log in as a guest, and I recommend you do this. It's really funny. I'm not saying you should play. You don't have to, but log in as a guest if they still allow that. It's been a while since I've been on there. I've been playing Magic Arena. You should be able to log in as a guest, and it'll just have options of theme decks to use, precons, and just go through there. Or if you already have an account, go to the new player room and just count how many games are titled "No Blue" in all caps, because these are people that don't like Counter Magic. They don't know how to play through it, so they just don't want to be told they don't want to be stopped from doing what they're doing. They're not, and on top of that, they're not wanting to get better. Obviously, if they're playing as a guest, they don't care. But still, complaining about this kind of stuff, like, oh no, it's too strong, just play around it. That's the answer to that kind of stuff. I started playing Magic in a very high-powered meta. It was, to be specific, for those of you who might know, it was Alara Zendikar Standard. I started playing at the end of 2009, and stopped playing at the beginning of 2011, right before New Phyrexia came out, due to financial reasons and time. But this standard was crazy high-powered. Right after I quit, right after I sold off my collection, is when they had the first bannings in standard for about 6 to 7 years, because cards got out of hand. They were too powerful, and they were banned in other formats for a long time still as well. One of them, Stoneforge Mystic, is still banned in Modern to this day. But I mean, it was a very, very high-powered standard. Mana Leak was like the blue card for the entire time it was in standard, and it was still in standard when I started playing again about a year and a half after that. And it's just it's such an efficient counter, especially early game. It just slows you down. It's really annoying. But I still played. I didn't complain about it. I played against Control a lot. My wife is a Control player. She played the deck blue-black Control when it was a thing. I didn't throw my hands up and go, oh, this sucks, I quit. I sat there. I spent weeks trying to figure out how to beat her decks. Not just blue-black Control. She played mono-black Vampires before that, and that was such a pain in the ass for what I was playing. I splashed blue into my sideboard of a red-white deck just to have counter spells to try to stop her big things. Didn't work. Yeah, it got I tried everything I could, and that's what I highly encourage people that are frustrated by some of these cards that are strong. Don't complain about them. Don't ask for their bannings. Because you just got to work through it. Shugesh isn't that kind of a problem because If you look at it from a design standpoint, yeah, it's a strong card, and I didn't think it was that bad at first, personally. I was like, yeah, he's a good card, but then they're very clearly not thinking about Shugesh when designing new stuff. And that's why I've changed my position that, yeah, he can use some errata, because it's very clear they're not taking that into account. Cold Bloodlust isn't or Barrier, those kinds of things aren't the types of stuff that need to worry about that. The only problem with Barrier is apes, and apes with Shugesh are crazy efficient with flooding the board with stuff that has Barrier, and we don't have efficient board sweepers yet. That's the thing, and I hope we get them. That's something we really need. Sorry for looking off, that's how I think. But yeah, we need that kind of stuff. We need other counterplay cards. I do agree. That's not, Cold Bloodlust or Crusher Ball's fault. I don't know if we need more counters because it's kind of a unique thing for yellow. Instead of getting a counterattack negate in the first two sets, they had battering laser. So that's something that should be unique to them, but counterplay shouldn't be. An idea I have for what a red counterplay could look like, because this is the first thing that popped into mind. It's like something that reduces power as the card comes into play, so that if that power reduction kills the card, the player still gets the auto if it has one, but then the card leaves the board, so it's not denying your opponent everything, but it's also not putting you in a it's still playable because you're still killing something. You're still getting rid of it. They might just still get their ETB trigger, and that's it. They'd be effectively playing an extra card instead of a battle card, and depending on what it is, that might not get them as far as they want it to. That's just an idea. That's my idea behind it. Something like a counterplay for blue. I don't know. It could be untapping. I don't know. That's kind of weird though. But there's different ways to do it. There's different things you can use. There's other design standpoints. I haven't put too much thought into the other colors yet. I was just coming up with an example last night as I was planning to do this video. It's just an idea. I'm not saying it has to be done, but it's something that thematically works with stuff that are coming out. It's something we could see because we've already seen with the Promo Baby and Machine Mutants that power reduction is a thing for them. So it could possibly exist, and that's my last point: is don't freak out because we don't even know half the set yet. We still have 3 colors out of 5? 3 out of 5. There we go. So yeah, we're not even halfway there. I mean, on Friday, we've got two colors coming out, red and blue, two of the big ones, and then we have black the Friday after that, which is where the rest of that stuff with Chronoho will be. I mean, there's a ton of stuff, and we don't know what they're offering yet. So don't freak out. Stop freaking out about every little thing. You can work around it. You gotta, you're smart. I don't care who's listening. You're smart. You're smart enough to figure it out. I believe in you personally. I know I've probably said some mean things, but I believe in every single player in this game. I remember before the game came out, when they were doing the first spoilers, there were small groups of people that were making the simulators, like Octagon and I just forget the other one. It's kind of like Magic Workstation. Cockatrice, thank you, Cockatrice and all that kind of stuff. People were making those work and freaking out because they thought they had all the answers when they just had commons and uncommons for each color, and then the rares and super rares got leaked, got spoiled, and the entire meta changed because they were rare leaders. They were rare leaders that were a lot better than the uncommon ones or not the starter deck. Vegeta was Super Saiyan Blue. Vegeta was there, and he was at the top of the meta for most of the time. But people were convinced that the uncommon Beerus leader was the end all be all, but that's because the early, I was gonna say for some reason, but I remember why. The early deck building philosophy was built around the demo decks that people got, and they all had super cheaply costed things, a lot of cheap double strikes, especially on the leader. So games were fast. Everyone thought games were going to be super fast, so you had to play a lot of low-costed stuff, and that made B-Risk better because we were like, yeah, at least like 50% of your deck has to be 1 and 2 drops. Well, yeah, if half your deck is susceptible to that leader's ability, of course it's going to be good. But when people actually started building decks, when more people got into it, instead of just these small groups of people, like half a dozen or so people, when it was, thousands upon thousands, and actual progress was made in building the decks. And that's why I believe in the community. I believe in every community because there's so many people together. You smash all of our heads together, something good is going to come out of it. It's I compare it to monkeys on typewriters, but we're not monkeys. I'm not the best player. You've seen me on this channel playing. I'm not the best, but even some of the worst people can have a slight bit of input. So don't knock anyone, because that's again why I believe in everyone. So don't freak out about problems. Shugesh might be getting hit with a silver bullet, and you might think your yellow deck is screwed. Just figure out a way around it. Replace him. I mean, you've got Dodoria. Or you can say screw it and try to go to a bunch of the Dragon Ball Tour events and get those Gokus. That thing that's really cool looking. Do something. Work your way around it. You can do it. Get your team together. You guys can work it out. The tone of this video may have changed, but I don't want this game to die. I just about left it, and I'm rebuilding my collection now, and it sucked. I thought I wasn't going to get to play anymore. I thought I was done. Effectively, the game was dead for me, and I was upset. It hurt. It sucks. I've worked very hard over this past year getting it promoted at my shop. We have it's a small group, but it's a good group of people. I love it. It's great going there every week. I've made good friends, and I know everyone else here has, so the big thing is don't quit. That'll kill the game. Sit it down, work it out. You can do it. That's pretty much all I wanted to say. I'll have gameplay videos up next week. I won't be able to do a spoiler video very easily. I might record one later this week through my phone, and it'll be kind of awkward. My internet's down, and I won't have it back up until the end of the week when we have our next spoiler. So we might even just do a back-to-back spoiler videos next week. I'm not sure yet. Either way, I just wanted to get this out there. If you don't care about my opinion, that's fine. It was just, burning a hole in my brain, and I wanted to get it out. So I hope you guys take this well. I hope people keep going, or I hope if this even convinces one person not to quit, I will feel like I did my job. Like this wasn't a waste of time because I need to be cleaning my living room. So I hope you guys have a good day and good luck in deck building. I believe in you guys.